Hello and welcome to Your Government in Action, a presentation of Bahamas Information Services. I'm Carissa Williamson. Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Philip Davis KC, participated in a panel at Global Citizen Now in New York on May 2nd, 2024, where he continued to raise awareness on the mitigating effects of climate change on small island developing states.
In respect to the climate change issue, it's a serious threat to me. And I've been advocating for this last several years. I became Prime Minister to wake up the global North as to its responsibility to what we're experiencing. If you consider that more than 40% of my national debt is directly attributed to recovery and restoring after a catastrophic event, if you consider that the last devastating hurricane to hit our shores was called Dorian, cost our economy in loss and damage $3.4 billion. When my annual revenue is less than $3 billion, you see the devastating effect of that. I'm an ocean state, spread over 100,000 square miles of pristine, clear, tranquil waters. and as that ocean state, more than 85% of our landmass is less than 3 meters above sea level. With rising seas, and recognizing as well that my landmass is porous limestone. With rising seas, warming waters, it's not just coming over us, it's seeping up to us. Warming waters cause loss of marine lives. Our biodiversity in coral reefs and mangroves are being threatened. If nothing happens, right, my people are doomed to be climate refugees or to watery grave. So it's an urgent challenge for me to wake up the North and allow them to stop talking. But we're doing some things, but I'm not despairing. But we are doing some things which I'll talk about at another time.
During a celebration to commemorate the International Day of the Midwife on May 3rd, 2024, Minister of Health and Wellness Dr. the Honorable Michael Darville expressed gratitude to midwives for their service and reaffirmed the government's commitment to further improving the healthcare system in the Bahamas.
I have a written speech, but I'm not going to go there today. I want to say a few things to you from my heart. First of all, we have about 151 midwives in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. There's 13 in the private sector and 2 in training. I learned that today. But there's more than 2 in training, because if Gina was able to speak today, you would realize that we have a very robust program that we have put in place to train midwives. As we speak, at the University of the Bahamas, there are 21 midwives that are currently in training, and we look forward to fill the training requirements for the deficits of nurses throughout our country. Our calculation indicate that we are short somewhere between 60 and 80 midwives, and we have budgetary allocations to train. The problem is, because Sister Nordage spoke about it, but we have resources to train. At the University of the Bahamas, we can only train about 20 to 25 at a time, and the training program is somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, Gene, 18 to 20 months. Right. So it means now that we have a willingness, we want to train, but there's only so much we can train at a particular time. And so we're looking at ways and different institutions to expand the training of midwives so that we can address this deficit. Coming out of the pandemic, the public health system had a shortage of nurses of somewhere between 475 to 500. And of those who are short, there was about 167 specialty nurses that were deficits. And we are moving very swiftly to address that. And so we have a short-term, medium, and long-term plan. The short-term plan is to recruit nurses. Just as they're recruiting from us, we have to go elsewhere to recruit. We brought in some African nurses, none are midwives, but we brought them in to fill the gaps and to fill the spaces of our nurses who move on to other things outside of the country. The second thing we need to do is we need to expand our programs. I want to speak a little bit about ArborNet program at the PHA Academy. We have a mandate to train some 400 trained clinical nurses, and presently we have 37 in our program. We're about to bring on another 50, and then we're looking at one or two institutions around the country to do another 50. The reason why that's important is because under the World Health Organization, we know that there's going to be a shortage of manpower resources in healthcare for the next 5 years. Means now that every country in the world has a deficit. And because this deficit exists, we are all around the world looking to recruit resources in our country to carry us through the short term, but it is our responsibility to develop programs for training. Now, we looked at the act and we realized that a lot of our nursing students who are coming out from the University of the Bahamas have to wait a certain period of time before they're eligible to go into the midwifery program. We need to change that. We need to change it because if we have nurses who have finished their probationary program, have the academic ability to do it, we should not hold them back. No other country is holding them back, so I'm asking you to look at that very carefully to change that. The second thing we need to do with our nurses who become midwives, there's no monetary gain. There's not. So there's no motivation. And so we need now to work very closely with the public service to address the deficit for the training. I believe that once you become a midwife, there's only a $50 increase in the salary. Exactly. That needs to change. And it's important for us to change that to motivate our nurses so that they are eligible to get postgraduate training and to be compensated for the postgraduate training. I want to speak about something because when I became minister, I walked on the maternity ward at the Princess Margaret Hospital and the maternity ward at the Rand Memorial Hospital. And I felt bad. I was an intern in the obstetrics department at the Princess Margaret Hospital. And when I walked through this obstetric department, it was worse than when I was an intern. Now that's a bad thing. And we need to fix it. And so I made a commitment when I became minister. I said we have to do something with the maternity ward at the Princess Margaret Hospital. So we brought in healthcare planners. And we are about to break ground in New Providence on a specialty hospital that deals with maternity and child care. You're going to hear me talk about it very soon. This is one of the greatest pieces of work that we have been doing since the pandemic. We are about to break ground on a 112,000 square foot facility, a specialty hospital that deals with maternal, adolescent child care, a diagnostic facility, a reference facility, and also a pandemic preparedness facility for mass casualties. I am about to break ground on this facility in a few months. I am pleased to report to you after 2 years, we have the financing. And I am about to make an announcement of the financing of $289 million by the way of the Chinese concessional loan facility. And for our sister who is in the Caribbean, I don't know if you've been to Guyana. Guyana is building 3 hospitals, Trinidad doing 2, and Barbados is about to expand on their facility, and the Bahamas is not going to be left alone. We are going to break ground on our facility, and we are going to deliver this maternal and child health care facility, a state-of-the-art facility, and we're going to do it in this term in office. Yes. It is coming. This is no longer a dream. I've been working on this for 2.5 years with managing director role. Now, for those who are in Grand Bahama, if you go on our site, the hospital ground has already been broken. Let's talk about the Nurses and Midwives Act. That was the second bill that I passed. We are now through the process of bringing that into force. And I'm excited about that because it's going to transform the way you practice nursing in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Okay. And the regulatory framework, nurses and midwives. Patients are complaining. They're complaining about attitudes of some of us. Yes. Hear me now.
Yes, go ahead.
Follow me.
Yes.
A lot of people in the community are saying that they are unsatisfied with the quality of care that they're getting from some of our nurses.
Go ahead.
And we have to look at it and be serious about it.
That's right.
In this new act, if you're a nurse and you mistreat people, they have a right to report you and expose you for your attitudes.
That's right.
And this is what professionalism is all about. Now, all of us are healthcare professionals. We live in a real world. We have challenges, and we do come to work sometimes stressed out. We need to know how to separate it and provide quality healthcare for the patients who are privileged to serve. Right. And I say that for us in the public system, and I thought I should plug it in because we need to take it to a next level. It's not only about your professionalism and your skill. It's about your attitude, because there's healing. There's healing with the right attitude. There's healing with the right attitude. But all of those to the sound of my voice, I want to let you know that the Department of Public Health is moving very swiftly to finalize our list. I got my director right here. I know she's under pressure. We have some promotions, but the worst thing you could do is give out those and then the rest ain't do. Sometimes it's better to hold them until the appropriate time. So on behalf of all of us who are privileged to serve the Bahamian people in the capacity of healthcare, we want to thank all of our midwives, those who are here in person and those who are online, to let you know that we appreciate you. We respect you. We want you to do well. We need to do better with compensation, and we need to give our younger nurses the opportunity for postgraduate training. Our last budget, we put resources in place. And you know it's very frustrating because I would call Gina and I say, Gina, we got to spend this money. We do not want to do midwifery programs that are not fully accredited. And we don't want to do a program that's only accredited at the Princess Margaret Hospital. That's why we need full accreditation, because the day you're with us, tomorrow you might migrate someplace else and you want to go with your profession that you can utilize where you go. And so with the PHA Academy, with UB, and some other institution we're looking at, I want to assure you that we want to move very swiftly for postgraduate training.
More of Your Government in Action when we return. Welcome back. The Ministry of Finance, under the patronage of Minister of Labor and the Public Service, the Honorable P. Glover Roll, held a ceremony to launch Cloud Bahamas, an initiative designed to rejuvenate public service systems. The ceremony was held at the British Colonial Hotel on May 9th, 2024.
It's a great day to be here, and it's an honor to share in this moment with all of you. I am very grateful for this moment because it is a very monumental step towards progress, which I stand on, and modernization. It was a little over 2.5 years ago, as my undersecretary so eloquently stated in that intro. That's probably going to be longer than my speech. But it was 2.5 years ago when my ministry outlined a vision to transform the public service. And when we spoke about this transformation, there was a number of faces in the crowd that said, yeah, right. And that was the impetus for, of course, wanting to ensure that we got to these steps in the process of making this vision come to fruition. And the vision was comprised in part of a promise that this administration made in our Blueprint for Change to reinvent and to reform skills in the public service that would revolutionize our country, the Bahamas. So in close consultation with public service stakeholders, we developed what we call our 10-point plan to reimagine the public service. And that plan included, as you would have heard, and as you hear so frequently, because the work continues, work on promotions backlogs, efforts to conduct and are now actually a completed public service audit so that we could determine the areas that needed the reform and where the manpower needs existed. It included a revamped onboarding and training process through initiatives like the Public Service Professional Engagement Program, and of course the settling of long-standing HR matters. I just spoke to the acting PM and told her that I just signed off on a matter on Monday from 2007. 2007, not 17, 2007. So these are many areas that need urgent and critical transformation in our public service. And while our plan has been described many times, especially by myself, as people-focused, it means that we always ensure that the investments we make first and foremost benefit the people. And there's a tendency when we're managing bureaucracies and we get heavy into it, to think in terms of process and policies and the protocols. But we must always remember that the work we do day in and day out is always about the people. Behind every systemic delay, behind every dollar, and I know the FS is this critical point, behind every dollar that is caught up in system inefficiencies and inadequacies and a slow-moving system, is a person with ambitions, a person with goals, a person with plans, whose morale and productivity is ultimately affected by these systemic inefficiencies. Like I said, just last week, I resolved a matter that was lagging for nearly 20 years. So imagine the pain and frustration that individual has felt for all these years. And like I have said on many occasions, the beauty is about the best employees in the country, public servants, is you still show up and you still show out and you still do the work. So while we can't give that employee back the time that they spend waiting, we can resolve the situation like we've done, but it's important to ensure that it never happens again. We've made our primary objective to take on the major issues directly and ensure that public servants can finally see progress, feel progress on many issues that have been stagnant for years. It's critical, though, that while we address these issues, because when people see that you care, when they feel valued, when you feel heard, when you feel respected, and most importantly, when you get paid and recognized and elevated for your contributions, that's when that's when we get our best efforts out of you. So there's a ceiling on what we can accomplish realistically through effort alone. And that's when we speak about the Cloud Bahamas. That's when the system itself isn't working. And we have to employ ambitious ways to ensure that we're not maintaining the status quo, to quote our Honorable Prime Minister. And this is why one of the most significant points in our 10-point plan was the digitalization of documents, human resources, and finance processes for the entire public service. Our document digitalization process is well underway in the Ministry of Public Service with nearly 1 million files scanned, and 1 million may sound like a lot, but I'm sure you saw the images of those files stacked up. 1 million is just a small dent in what it is that we have to do. And the digitalization of our human resource management systems will now be fully realized by initiatives like this. Of course, the Oracle Fusion ERP system represents the fulfillment of our plan to integrate human resource management information system and our finance management system into the public service. So the work, needless to say, is critical. And as we navigate the local and global challenges ahead, digitalization efforts must be expedited to ensure that our nation remains globally competitive. Digitalization represents one of the major challenges, not only impacting our country, obviously, but developing nations. The world is facing what's referred to as a triple transition. I've just returned from a forum, a global skills forum in Geneva, where we dig deep and look into what this triple transition means, in particular for our labor force. And while there are major changes, as Ms. Williams spoke about the change management that will have to be employed, the changes that have to come will redefine our nations and ultimately our economies. There's the climate transition that's brought on by climate change. There's the demographic transition that's brought on by the changing population dynamics. And of course, there's the digital transition, which represents both an enormous challenge, but in all challenges, I always see amazing opportunities. So to put it frankly, our needs are great. We're behind where we should be. That's the reality. But we're making the effort. We're doing what's necessary to catch up through these digital transformation efforts. And fortunately, in this administration, the political will is here to make the necessary investments in technology that will catapult this nation forward.
A ceremony was held to mark the official handover of 2 container farms to the Bahamas Agriculture and Marine Science Institute by principals of Eden Farms. The ceremony took place at the Airport Industrial Park on May 6, 2024.
The day marks a new era for agriculture in our country, as we in the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources continue to seek ways to revolutionize this industry. As you can see, the ministry has purchased 2 container farms from Eden Farms, one to be placed in North Andros and the other in Eleuthera. This is all towards our bid to become more food secure and to make progress in our goal to reduce our food import bill by 25% by the year 2025. Now, I know it's an ambitious and aggressive goal, but it is one that I believe we can achieve through collaborative efforts, as seen here today. Container farming is an innovative approach to agriculture that holds great importance for the Bahamas. In a country where traditional farming practices are often limited by factors such as our climate, land availability, and soil quality, container farming offers sustainable and efficient solutions to food production. The Bahamas faces unique challenges when it comes to agriculture. With a limited amount of arable land and excessive reliance on imported food, the need for local sustainable farming is more pressing than ever before. Container farming, also known as vertical farming, presents an opportunity to grow fresh produce in a controlled environment, regardless of the external factors that we're all experiencing firsthand here this morning. One of the key benefits to container farming is its ability to maximize space. By using vertical structures and stacking plant beds, farmers can grow a large quantity of crops in a small area. This is particularly advantageous for the Bahamas. Secondly, container farming allows, as Mr. Deal said earlier, for year-round production with the ability to control factors such as temperature, humidity, and light. Farmers can cultivate crops continuously without being dependent on seasonal changes. Can you imagine doing all of this from the touch of a button on your smartphone? This not only ensures a consistent food supply for the local population, but it also reduces the need for importing from abroad. Additionally, container farming is also resource efficient. By using techniques such as hydroponics or aeroponics, which requires less water, and as indicated, I'm told 99% less water than traditional farming. Farming methods, such as container farming, promote sustainability and conservation of our most precious natural resources. This is crucial for the Bahamas, where the preservation of natural resources is essential for the well-being of both humans and the environment. Moreover, container farming has the benefit to create job opportunities and stimulate economic growth in our country. By investing in this sustainable farming method, the country can develop a resilient and self-sufficient food system and improve food security for its citizens, which is indeed our ultimate goal. With the handover today of these two container farms to BAMSI, we are making a significant investment in our future by offering opportunities for innovation and technical advancement. With the use of automation, sensors, and data analysis, we are encouraging new age farming, which can lead to higher yields and a better quality produce. Whoever thought that an app or a smartphone would one day go hand in hand with farming? This not only improves the economic viability of farming operations, but also the adoption of new technologies in the agriculture sector. Through this pilot program with BAMSI, we are embracing this innovative farming method and helping to address its unique agriculture challenges, promote sustainability, resource efficiency, foster technological innovation, and strengthen our food security. Sincerely, it is our hope that we develop this program to extend to other islands and create a chain reaction of growth throughout the Bahamas. I, for one, am certainly looking forward to all the fruits and vegetables, especially the pineapple, this remarkable project will bear in order to grow a more sustainable and prosperous future for the Bahamas. With that being said, I'd like to thank Eden Farms, I'd like to thank BAMSI, and I would like to say thank you to you all for being here to celebrate with us today.
Bahamas Information Services extends deepest condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of the late Honorable A. Loftus Roker. Born in Acklands, Mr. Roker's legacy as a former Bahamian politician and one of the signatories on the Bahamas Constitution stands as a testament to his profound dedication to our nation. As we reflect on his life and contributions, we highlight the legacy of honesty, resilience, and service that he has demonstrated throughout his distinguished political career and beyond. As a further demonstration to honor his historic contribution to the development of the Bahamas, in 2023, Ackland Central High School was renamed the A. Loftus Roker High School. Our thoughts and prayers are with his loved ones during this difficult time. May the devotion of the late Honorable A. Loftus Roker to the advancement of the Bahamas inspire us all. I'm Carissa Williamson, and this has been Your Government in Action, a proud presentation of Bahamas Information Services. Join us on Tuesday evenings where we bring you highlights, coverage, and information as we continue to do what we do best, linking people and government.